It's summertime. It is a time when lots of people have lots of plans. And because of that, I am doing this retro review all by my lonesome. Oz from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I will be reviewing, or retro reviewing, Couples Retreat. Um, it so it was a movie that I avoided for years because from the trailers it looked like some people might have some sad times. And I just wasn't in the mood for it. But took the plunge, watched the movie. Surprisingly, not as sad as I expected. And with that, after the open rolls, I, by my lonesome, will review Couples Retreat. Before I break it all down, this solo summer retro review, I've got to talk to you, the viewer, about why this channel, Mr. Super Oz, exists, and that is because I, Oz, from the channel, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors, Volume 1, All Day Long. There are 5 cover options available. This is cover A by Jeff Hicks. This is cover B by Nick Crook. There are additionally 3 more covers, one by the colorist Febri Ferdian, and 2 additional covers by Jeff and Nick. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can pick yourself up a copy of any of those covers. You can get posters and hats and shirts and all kinds of fun things. Couples Retreat. We start with Dave. He's played by Vince Vaughn, and he's dealing with a very common problem for men. A woman asking him if he loves a thing he doesn't care about. In this case, it's tile. Who loves tile? Nobody loves tile. Nobody cares about tile. It's really fun writing. In the store where Dave and his wife Veronica, are looking for tile, their son uses a display toilet the way that you would use a toilet if it was not on display and in your house. So much information is delivered in such a short amount of time. In just 11 minutes, I realized this movie is going to be going at like 100 miles an hour. The whole time, Joey, Jon Favreau, and Lucy, Kristen Davis, have a very dysfunctional marriage. We find that out because Joey's on the phone with Dave. And we meet Jason, played by Jason Bateman, and Cynthia, played by Kristen Bell. They have a very sad marriage. They're struggling to conceive, and unfortunately, I feel their pain. This movie is both hilarious and sad. I hope it keeps the humor up and lets the sadness fade away. Jason Bateman has a great dry delivery in his funny lines. And he's just so good at the self-deprecating humor. To maintain Jason and Cynthia's marriage, they want to go on a couple's retreat. I mean, that makes sense given the title of the movie. The only thing is, they can't afford to go as just the 2 of them. But if they book a group couples retreat, they can get a better rate. So Jason and Cynthia play a proposal to Dave, Joey, and their friend Shane to try and convince them all to join in. After Dave and Ronnie's kids call their grandparents to set up for them to babysit them, amazing that the kids had this cross their mind all by themselves. But, it's also not all that amazing given that the reason they called is because the kids don't want their parents to split up. They overheard Jason and Cynthia talking about splitting up, and the kids, they didn't want their parents, Dave and Ronnie, to break up, so they call the grandparents. And so with that, Dave says a line that should never be uttered in media. How bad can it really be? It always cracks me up when somebody says that because, of course, when they say how bad can it really be, it's going to get pretty bad. My goodness, Jason Bateman is so good at being awkward. What a line. Is his junk out? Is his junk out of his pants? Oh, now it's a party. This thing just knows how to say the most unexpected lines and, make it feel fun. While on the couples retreat, all the couples meet counselors. And the counselors they each have different ways of going about things, and each one is interesting and fun, and each one of them have a different enjoyable quirk. One of the therapists is Ken Jeong, I believe. Another one is John Michael Higgins. They do great work at being a-holes. The counseling sessions get so personal, and sometimes it even hurts to listen to the struggles of the couples because I'm just not a fan of the pain they're going through, which is what has led them to this moment. But just as I feel myself wanting out of these therapy sessions, one of the therapists pulls me back in by saying, "You definitely don't pull a hypothetical gun on your therapist. It's just such freaking stellar writing. The most fun concept is like, so even when the movie gets sad, they do good at bringing the humor." I pause the movie at one point, realize I'm over halfway through, and I realize I haven't taken enough notes, which is, a good note to take because it means I am actually enjoying the movie, and that's good because I was surprised, or unexpectedly enjoying it because I expected it to not be as fun as it actually turned out to be. So not only do the couples go through therapy sessions, but they also have yoga exercises they do to try and calm them all. And the movie just is great at putting down fire lines, not just in the therapy sessions, but like the hilarious name puppy cradle syndrome was dropped, and I was just like, this stuff is crazy. I will transfer my karma to you in a yoga pose. It's like, what is this thing? It's so crazy. One of the friends asks the group if daydreaming about your highlight reel is considered cheating. Jon Favreau is the guy who asked the question. He is such a good scumbag. And it's such a weird thing to think about, like thinking about your prior conquest. Is that cheating? Because, obviously it's in your mind and you're not doing it, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's cheating, but it's just impolite. Faison Love telling his friends he doesn't want his girl staying all night on Hump Island cracks me up. Because not only is there a couples retreat island, but there's a singles retreat island adjacent to the couples retreat island. And so his girlfriend goes over to what they have jokingly called Hump Island. And every time we see it, it's just so beautiful and pristine and almost magical. Whereas the couples island is it's kind of a downer. Not good at all. The couples are split up on Hump Island. This is not good for folks trying to make it work. Jason is not being nice to any of his friends, which is unpleasant, but I get it. He's worried. He thinks his marriage is falling apart. And I mean, Jason Bateman is just so good at playing believable, if you will, like the levels of pain and understanding, and his snarkiness helps with that. Joey, Jon Favreau, calls out Dave, Vince Vaughn, for having what he believes to be the better wife in Ronnie, Veronica, which is so ironic given that he treats his own wife so unpleasantly. And if Jon Favreau would have treated his wife better, more respectfully, I don't think that his marriage would be so unpleasant. And Jon Favreau is just so surprisingly great at being mean. His role in I Love You Man and this one here in Couples Retreat, they almost feel like the same dude, just a bad, impolite person who wants to go to Applebee's all by themselves. Like, this thing is just so good at dropping the most unexpectedly entertaining lines. And that's a question that gets all the dudes back into their wives. I mean, and it doesn't hurt that all their wives are hot. They already have this, weird. But weird isn't necessarily bad, but this weird comedy going on where they treat their wives unpleasantly, but once they realize they don't want to be alone, they start treating their wives better, which is, hey, I'm a fan of that. And Shane found his estranged wife on the singles island, the place they call Hump Island, and they both regret being apart, and they get back together, and that's all you can really want. I missed a lot. A lot of things happened, but the upside is this movie that came out in 2009 that I avoided for so long, I actually recommend it. I think it's a 4 out of 5. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's worthwhile. I appreciate you tuning in. Come back tomorrow for trivia and back on Thursday for another trivia short. And yeah, check out the channel on Friday and next Monday for more movie reviews. Later.